Today, we're taking a fabulous trip back in time to the Renaissance, an era when fashion went wild. We're talking big collars, puffy sleeves, and enough velvet to make your head spin. So, buckle up your fancy shoes because we're about to dive into a world of ruffs, doublets, and seriously over-the-top extravagance. Let's set the scene. Picture Europe between the 14th and 17th centuries. It's a time of significant change, fantastic art, and some seriously out-there fashion choices. The Renaissance was all about rebirth and new ideas. And boy, did that show up in people's wardrobes. Fashion as a status symbol. If you lived during the Renaissance, the first thing you'd notice is that clothes were a big deal. We're not just talking about keeping warm or looking nice. Oh no, clothes were like walking billboards that screamed, "Look how rich and important I am." The fancier your outfit, the higher up the social ladder you were. Talk about dressing to impress. The iconic ruff. Let's start with one of the most iconic pieces of Renaissance fashion, the ruff. Imagine wearing a giant, frilly collar around your neck that looks like a fancy paper plate. That's a ruff. These collars started small, but as time went on, they got bigger and bigger. Some were so huge that people needed special utensils to eat without messing up their ruffs. Can you imagine trying to take a bite of your sandwich with one of those around your neck? Puffed up fashion. But the fun didn't stop at the neck. Oh no, Renaissance folks loved to puff up every part of their outfit. Take the doublet, for example. This was a tight-fitting jacket worn by men, often with sleeves so puffy they looked like balloons attached to their arms. And let's not forget about padded shoulders that would make any 1980s power dresser jealous. For the ladies, it was all about the big skirt energy. Women's dresses had these enormous bell-shaped skirts called farthingales. They were held up by hoops or rolls of fabric, making the wearer look like a walking bell. Underneath all that, they wore something called a bum roll. No, it's not what you're thinking. It was a padded roll tied around the hips to make the skirt stick out even more. Because why not, right? Luxurious fabrics. Now, let's talk fabrics. If it wasn't shiny, sparkly, or ridiculously expensive, Renaissance fashionistas didn't want to know about it. Velvet, silk, and brocade were all the rage. And if you could get your hands on some cloth of gold, yes, that's fabric woven with real gold thread, you were basically fashion royalty. The significance of colors. Speaking of royalty, colors were a big deal too. Certain colors, like purple, were so expensive to make that only the super rich could afford them. So, if you saw someone strutting down the street in a purple outfit, you knew they were a big deal. Extravagant accessories. But wait, there's more. Accessories were where Renaissance folks really got to show off. We're talking jewels galore, fancy hats with massive feathers, and gloves scented with perfume. Men would wear stockings with intricate patterns, while women carried around sweet-smelling pomanders to mask any not-so-pleasant odors. Because, let's face it, bathing wasn't exactly a daily thing back then. The price of fashion. Now, all this sounds pretty uncomfortable. And you'd be right. Comfort wasn't a priority in Renaissance fashion. Ladies had to deal with super tight corsets that made breathing a challenge. And those big collars, they could be starched so stiff that turning their head became a real workout. But it wasn't all discomfort and showing off. Renaissance fashion had some practical sides too. Take the codpiece, for example. This was a padded flap or pouch at the crotch of men's trousers. Sure, it often got exaggerated to ridiculous proportions, but it started as a way to, protect the family jewels. Talk about the fashion meeting function. No pockets. And let's not forget about pockets. Or rather, let's forget about them. Because they didn't exist yet. Instead, people carried around little bags called pouches. Ladies would often hide these under their skirts, attached to a belt. It was like a secret, fancy fanny pack. Now, did everyone dress like this? Well, not exactly. While the rich were parading around in their velvet and gold, ordinary folks wore much simpler clothes made from wool or linen. But even they tried to add a touch of Renaissance flair when they could, maybe with a small ruff or a bit of embroidery. The evolution of Renaissance fashion. As the Renaissance went on, fashion got more and more extreme. It was like a big game of who can wear the most oversized collar or how many jewels can I stick on this outfit, but all good things must come to an end. By the 17th century, people started to tone things down a bit, but the impact of Renaissance fashion, that never went away. Modern influences. In fact, we can still see echoes of Renaissance style today. Ever worn a puff sleeve blouse? That's a little Renaissance right there. How about some bling? You can thank Renaissance fashionistas for making jewelry a must-have accessory. And there you have it, fashion fans. The wild and wonderful world of Renaissance style, from ruffs that could double as dinner plates to dresses that turned women into walking bells. The Renaissance was a time when fashion truly went all out. So, next time you complain about your itchy sweater or tight jeans, just be glad you're not wearing a corset and a 5-pound collar. Did you love learning about Renaissance fashion? Which over-the-top trend would you dare to try? A massive ruff? Some puff-tastic sleeves? Let us know in the comments. If this historical fashion feast left you hungry for more, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Riches to Rags. Hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all our fabulous fashion history adventures.